Today I'm going to show you how to create this Winnie the Pooh charm on the rainbow loom. In order to create him, you will need about 100 orange or yellow rubber bands. I'm using the rainbow loom neon orange, the regular ones, but you can use regular yellow, jelly yellow, or regular orange if you would like. You also need 3 black rubber bands and about 42 red rubber bands. So if you want to go ahead and collect your supplies, we will get started. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to start with today, we're going to be creating the arms as well as a face extension. I have already created one of the arms and one of those face extensions myself. So I will go ahead and show you how to make one and then just pause the video to make the second one. So starting up here on the top left portion of your loom, we're going to grab 3 red rubber bands, coming down 1, and then you need 2 red bands. Then we're going to switch to the orange with 2 bands. And we're going to come down a total of 3 with orange bands. So 2 bands and 2. We then want to cap that off 2 times to create 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And then in order to create the extension on the body, you'll grab 2 orange bands right below that, anywhere on the loom. 2 bands. 2 more, and then capping it off with 3 loops. Then we can go in under the capping band and bring that forward, and the same thing for the arm. Once you've done that, you can remove them from the loom, and here's the 2 pieces. So go ahead and pause the video, make the second arm and the second body extension, and then we'll move on. The next step, we need to create a full body extension. The smaller one that we did was for the face, this one's for the body. So you're going to start at the top of your loom with 2 red bands on the left, coming down 2 more. And then you're going to repeat that on the right with 2 bands. And 2 more. And then we're going to switch to the orange, coming down with 2 orange bands 3 times. And repeat that on the other side. And we're going to cap off the bottoms to create 3 loops. And then we're going to create some crossover bands here from this second peg down on the left to the second peg on the right with 1 single band. Third peg down on the left to third on the right with an orange. And just repeat that all the way down, except for the last one. Once those are in place, go ahead and grab your hook and you can start looping. Go in under the capping band and pull it onto itself. Do the same thing on the left. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and remove it from the loom and set it aside. And this is what you should have. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and start working on the overall layout. So we're going to be starting at the top of the loom. I will be using 2 bands unless I specify otherwise. So coming from the top center peg to the left with 2 bands, starting with the orange. And 2 more going to your right. Coming down 2 with 2 bands twice on the left. And repeat that on the right. Then I'm going to come to the center peg with 2 bands. And bringing it in from the left as well to the center with 2 bands. And then go ahead and fill in the center pegs to orange straight down. We're then going to switch to the red, coming from this center peg out to your left with 2 red bands, and do the same thing for the right. You then want to come down 3 times on the left with 2 bands each. And repeat that on the right. We then are going to come off the center peg with 2 red bands. And now we're going to switch to 3 bands for the next one. 3 bands for this one. Now we're going to switch back over to orange, coming down on the left side with 2 orange bands. And come down 1 more with 2 bands. And then bringing it to the center peg. Repeat the same thing on the right hand side, so 2 bands. 2 more, and bringing it to the center. We then need to fill in the rest of the center, so coming down here off this red with 3 orange bands, and 3 more, and then bringing it to this peg with only 2 orange bands. Now we just need to finish off with the legs. So starting over here on the left with 3 orange bands, switching to 2 orange bands, and bring it all the way to the bottom of the loom. And we'll do the same thing for the other leg, so 3 bands. And then 2, 2 more, and 2 at the bottom. And this is what you should have so far. Now once we have done this, we can go ahead and place the body extensions into place. And what we want to do with this is the top portion will connect to the second peg below the shoulder peg, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pegs down. You're going to place, you'll have 4 bands for each set. You're going to place 4 of them on each side. Now once you've done that, you're going to take your hook, go through the capping band, and you're going to bring this down to the bottom peg down here, which is right before where the leg starts. It's the 5th peg from the bottom. I want to do the same thing with the other side. And pull everything off to the outside area. Now once we have done that, we want to fix the overlapping bands. So you're going to grab your hook and pull the red bottom portion of the band down to below these 2 pegs. So pull that down underneath. Grab the orange and pull that one down below these. Then pull this one down. And the last one down. We can then go ahead and grab the arms. You're going to place one on each shoulder peg. Which is the 4th peg from the top. And then we also need to place the face extensions, and they are going to go on the 2nd peg from the top to the 3rd peg from the top. Just like that. And this is what you should have. We're also going to add in another holding band from the 5th peg down, creating a triangle. And then we need to create the eyes and the nose. So you're going to grab a single black band, creating 4 loops. Grab a single orange band, double it, pull those 4 loops, and you will place that from the 2nd peg in the center to the 2nd peg down on the left. We're going to repeat that again for the other eye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, single, double it, and placing from the 2nd peg down on the right to the center 2nd peg. And that creates the eyes. For the nose, you'll take a single black, create 4 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to grab 2 orange bands and pull that on. You then want to take a single orange and pull all of that onto there. And you're going to place that off the same pegs as the eyes, so the 2nd to the 2nd. And then go in between the nose to pull that bottom peg down, the bottom one of the bands underneath the 3rd peg from the center. And there's his nose. We then need to cap off the bottom feet. you want to grab a single orange, create 4 loops. And repeat that again. Then going to pull that onto a single double. And pull it onto another single double. And then place that on the very last peg at the bottom. And then we're going to do that again. So you create your 4 loops. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single orange, double it. And then pull your 2 bands on. Grab another single, double it. And then place that on the bottom as well. We also need to place a capping band down here on the last peg. You're going to wrap that around twice to create 3 loops for a capping band. The last piece that we need to add is the ears. They go on these top 2 pegs. So in order to do that, you're going to take a single orange, creating 4 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pulling that onto a single double. And then you just place that on the very first peg on the right. And do that again for the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Single double. And then place it on the first peg on the left. And this is what you should have. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and loop him up. So you're going to start on the bottom, go underneath your capping band or your feet, grabbing the bottom 2 bands, bringing them forward. And we can go ahead and come all the way up and stop at the top of the legs. Repeat that on the other side. Once we're here, we're going to go into the capping band in the middle, bringing that one forward. Go back into the capping band, coming to your right, and again to your left. We're then going to come over, go underneath all of the bands, grabbing only the bottom 2 bands, and carefully bringing them up. We can go all the way up to the shoulder here. Then repeat that on the other side. So we want to go in, grabbing only the bottom 2. And then go back down and coming up the center. And remember, through this portion of the center you have 3 bands. Now we want to go in through the chin peg. Grabbing the first set of double bands. Should be coming up to the center. The next 2 going to my left, and then the last 2 to the right. We can then go ahead and loop up the center. Right here, I like to go ahead and pull the nose out so it doesn't get too far buried when I pull them off the loom. Then we'll go back in underneath all of the bands on the side, grabbing only the bottom 2. Same thing with this one. And bringing that to the center. And then back over to the left. Now we're going to grab a single orange band, go through the very top of your loom, and pull that band back through, and hooking it onto itself, pull the top over to create your slip knot. And then we're ready to take them off the loom. And once he's off the loom, we can go ahead and fix him. If you want, you can take the holding band at the top, flip him over, and pull that down to hide the band. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and pull out his ears, push his eyes forward, and pull his nose out a little bit. And fix his cheeks. As far as his legs, you can go down to the bottom. If you flip him over down here, go into the last 2 that were just the double bands and pull on those some. And that gives him his little feet. Or you can leave them straight. But that's pretty much how we make our Pooh Bear. I hope you like him.